Hey, you was ever in school and the teacher gave you work to do, but the bell rang? So you start packing up, you start talking with your friends, you start planning all the things you're gonna do after school, and the teacher go, hey, what y'all doing? The bell don't dismiss you? I do. Well, that's kind of what happened with Diddy. Because as I'm sure you've heard, Diddy has been found not guilty on 3 of his 5 counts. And those 3 counts were major. We're talking about sex trafficking and racketeering. The other 2 weren't as major, or were they? Because it would seem that Diddy and his team were celebrating a little bit prematurely. Hell, even his own son had announced that he's ready for his dad to come home.
Hey, yo, we love y'all. We love everybody watching. So happy. Pop's coming home. God bless. God bless the whole world.
What was going through your head when the verdict was read? Happy.
So much like school, Diddy and his team started packing up their bags, waiting for the bail to set them free. But the judge said, hold up there now. The jury don't dismiss you, I do. So as far as I'm concerned, you ain't dismissed. And your bail has been denied.
Bruh.
So what does this mean for his sentencing? Well, a lot of people probably believe that maybe, just maybe, the judge is just trying to send a message. I mean, he was found not guilty on 3 of his major charges. Surely the judge has to let him out soon, right? Right? Well, I have reason to believe that the judge just may be looking to give Diddy a little bit of attention. Or maybe a lot. Let's discuss. Yep, how you feeling? Welcome to another edition of According to Lamar. I'm Lamar. Hope you're feeling well. Hope your mind, body, and spirit is well. And if not, I hope it gets better for you. Remember, there's a lot of reasons to feel stressed right now, but I hope you find things that make you feel blessed right now.
Yeah.
Now let's get into the story. Now, speaking of stressed, I know one person is stressed, and that is Sean Puffy Combs, or better known as Diddy, or P. Diddy, or Love, or whatever he's gone by lately. It doesn't matter. In any case, he's been found not guilty on 3 of his 5 counts in his RICO case, but the judge has denied his bail, leaving him in jail still. The judge has denied Diddy's bail due to his alleged propensity for violence, which I think is a smoking gun which signals trouble to come for Diddy. Let's break it down. Now, this isn't the first time that Diddy has been denied bail. Actually, it's around his 4th time, seeing as Diddy has been trying numerous times before the trial even began. And each time, his bail was denied by the judge who claimed that Diddy had violent behavior. But why is that a smoking gun? Well, quite frankly, that's not what Diddy is on trial for. But it is what the judge remembers. You see, Diddy has been on trial for sex trafficking, racketeering, and transporting of prostitution. And he's been found not guilty of the sex trafficking and racketeering. But he has been found guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, which in layman's terms is he flued out people to have a freak off. Now, these 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution carry a maximum of 10 years each in prison, which means that he's looking at a maximum of up to 20 years in prison. 20 years for flying people out to have a freak off. Don't sound very violent, but the judge still thinks that he has a propensity for violence, even though he was found not guilty on the charges that do warrant violence, which is the sex trafficking by force or coercion. Still, the judge is not convinced that this man isn't a violent man. And why is that? Well, surprise, it's the tape that we all saw. Even though that tape was inadmissible and not what he was being convicted of, we still saw it. The judge still saw it. And maybe even some of the jury still saw it. But nonetheless, the judge is able to see anything he wants to see. And even though he can dismiss it from court, he can't dismiss it from his mind. And look, I don't blame him. You go through weeks and weeks and weeks of hearing about a man who was violent to many, many people. Not only do you hear about it, there's actual video proof that you could see this man being physically, maliciously violent to a woman. And even though he's not being charged of that, does it not affect you? I'm sure it does. A lot of people who want Diddy in jail, let's be honest, you want him in jail because of that video you saw. We don't really know that other stuff. The burden of proof is on the accuser. And unfortunately, there's no proof of him sex trafficking somebody or racketeering or a RICO case. There's no evidence of that. And that's what the jury had to decide on. There was no evidence of that. You can believe he did it, but your belief is largely based off of the video that you saw of him doing something malicious in another field. And that's what we're working with here. So to you guys, I propose a philosophical question. Going back to the school analogy. If a student cheats on a test and is a known cheater on test, but gets accused of stealing, should he still be held liable for stealing because we know him for cheating? Let me know your answers in the comment section. But going back to the judge. Now, I'm not going to say anything about whether it was right or wrong to deny the bail. What I can say is that judges are free to deny the bail if they feel like that person is a risk to the public or a flight risk. And if you feel like that person has a history of violence, well, that's a logical means to deny bail. Is it logical in this facet, in this situation? That's up to you. What I'll also say about the judge is that the judge seems to believe that Diddy is in some way, shape, or form a manipulator or coercer. I say that because there was a point in time in the trial in which the judge had to scold Diddy's team for Diddy constantly looking at the jury in a way that could seem persuasive. Now, the judge did warn Diddy not to do such things, and I guess at a certain point, Diddy decided not to listen, so I guess he was scolded. But still, you gotta wonder, with that, plus the fact of him denying bail because of his alleged propensity for violence, by the judge's words, what does the judge really think of Diddy? And how will that impact his sentencing? Another thing to consider about the judge is that it's a fairly new judge. He was sworn in 2023. How does that impact everything? Well, typically, much like any other job, if you're new on the job, you kind of take it a lot more seriously. You kind of stick by the book, you stick by the rules. You kind of don't give much leeway because you don't want to get in trouble. And everything is more important, or at least seems more important, because you still feel like you're in this probationary period. And I think that could also be something that can impact Diddy's sentencing negatively. Before denying Diddy's bail, the judge requested that the prosecution as well as the defense send in letters pleading their case on why they feel that Diddy should be or should not be bailed out. Take a listen at what an experienced lawyer thought about that decision.
First of all, it gives you guys some insight into how ridiculous the federal court is sometimes. The judge doesn't need papers from both sides to determine whether there should be bail here or not. He has heard so many bail arguments throughout the course of all these proceedings. He knows what the bail conditions are. He knows what they've asked for. He has all the paperwork, but he's a new judge. He's a very new judge. And the way new judges often react is they take a timeout, as they should, and they go in the back and they talk to maybe Judge Lewis Kaplan, who did the Trump trial, or Judge Stanley Stein, who did the Menendez trial just now. They've been on the bench for 35 years. He's going to go and talk to them. What do you think? What are your ideas? My guess is they're going to say to him, well, what's your instinct right now? Do you think you're going to send him to jail for 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years? Because if you are, keep him where he is. He's already serving time. He's getting credit for it. Why are you going to let him out just to put him back in? I don't see a scenario where this judge, with this case, with this notoriety, giving him no additional jail time. But this charge, the Mann Act, is such a BS charge that almost never gets charged in federal court. So he's in a little bit of a quandary, the judge here. My guess is he's probably going to keep him in for at least the time being, and maybe say, I'll consider this a little bit more down the road.
So here you have a new judge on a super high profile case. I would imagine this judge just wants to get it right and also try not to tarnish his name in the process, especially with such a divisive and polarizing trial that we've been having. I mean, this trial is pretty much split with people supporting or being completely against Diddy. What do you do as a judge when it seems like no call is the right call? And also, knowing that this man did something very, very wrong, but he's not being convicted of. What do you, as a judge with so much power, do? Well, who better to ask than a judge, huh? Let's see what Judge Mathis has to say about this.
Unfortunately, judges are people too, and he's going to try and compensate for the other things that they've seen, for the state crimes that he's seen. His mindset is going to be, I'm not letting him get away with the minimum. I'm giving him the maximum that'll compensate for the things I can't do. The things that he didn't, the things that the prosecutor didn't prove, but I think happened. The things that happened in state court, but the statute of limitations expired, so I can't prosecute him. So, he says 1 to 10 years, I think I'm gonna give him 10. I hope not.
They say justice is blind. So I won't be surprised if this judge decides to dole out a little bit of blind justice, if you know what I'm saying. Is it fair? Well, that's up to what you believe. But what's ultimately gonna happen, well, that's up to the judge. And unfortunately, it ain't looking too pretty for Diddy. Well, how much y'all think the judge is gonna give him? I think the judge is probably gonna give him like 2 to 5 years, something that's not too crazy, but sets the example. And he'll probably get out in about 1 or 2 years with time served in good behavior. Before you know it, he'll be back outside with the baby oil people on speed dial, like, what's up? Freak all ready. Consensual, of course. Thanks for watching another edition of According to Lamar. Please like, share, and subscribe, and let me know how you feel in the comments. Look, man, no more flying people out. No more flying people out. Everybody got to pay their own way, okay? You see what's happening with the judges. You see how they cracking down. Have your receipt in hand. Other than that, what do y'all think about this trial, man? Do y'all think he's guilty? Do y'all think he should be free? Do you think he should be in jail? Let me know in the comment section. Let's talk about it. Let's keep the conversation going. Till next time, guys, my name is Lamar, and as always, I appreciate you for watching. Peace.